What if I told you that one of the greatest things that you can do in your life is to enter into peace, love, and joy, and then remain there as much as you possibly can, and that nothing else is really gonna satisfy you? No fame, no amount of money, no relationship, none of that is actually gonna give you what you end up thinking it will. What we are taught to believe. That if I have success, that if I have status, then people will love me. Then I will feel love. Then I will feel joy and true happiness because I've achieved this thing. And the truth is that many people have climbed these ladders just to find out that after so much effort, so much struggle, so much pain to achieve this goal, that it wasn't it. They were like looking around at the top of this ladder. It was like, is this it? Wow. Okay, I made $1 million. Now I got $1 million in the bank account, but is this it? Or they get into that relationship and then they're just like, oh, okay, is this it? At the end of the day, what's really going to transform us is what we do in order to work on our own love, peace, and joy. Now, the issue for most people is that they're trapped in what David R. Hawkins would say, a low level of consciousness. In one of these levels of pride, fear, anger, apathy, shame, guilt. And most of us have not been taught how to release and let go of this state of being, this mode of consciousness, let's say, and to move up into higher levels. As a Capuchin Franciscan, 5 years in training, in the making, I was part of this school of love. I was part of this school of peace, joy, and humility that taught me how to enter into these states, how to go through a process of releasing a lot of the lies that are part of the lower states of being, how to get rid of those, because they're not true, they're not good. And the truth is that many of us get stuck in one of these modes of being without learning how to forgive, how to let go, how to move up. And for me, it was a very human formation. It was really going in deeply into these areas of my life through spiritual direction, through support from very holy men that have been doing this for so long, who have entered in to these higher levels of consciousness, let's say, and that have guided me to go into love, peace, and joy. And I can tell you, as a Franciscan friar, that I had no money. I had a vow of poverty, right? I had no honey. I had a vow of chastity. And I didn't have status, power, whatever. I had a vow of obedience. So I had to obey my superiors and go wherever I wanted, where they wanted me to go. Not where I wanted to go, not what I wanted to do, right? No autonomy, none of that. And even in that, without the money, without the honey, without the freedom, I felt joy, I felt peace, I felt love, and I was so happy. The hardest thing I had to do in my life was leave. Leave after these 5 years. Not understanding, God, why did you bring me in here to then take me out? But now I am starting to realize that this stuff that I learned, all of this, I'm here to share it. I'm here to share it with the world, and I'm going to do it through this means. Now, when it comes to another aspect of what I do here in this channel is bioenergetics. And the reason why I work on the body-mind connection and really delve deep into topics that maybe most people don't want to talk about, the anxiety, the fear, the sadness, the grief, even the sexual issues, anything that's really going down that's hurtful and difficult in our lives, being in that lower level of consciousness, those are things that we have to purge. to get rid of, to let go. In the spiritual sense, there is the three-way path of holiness that kind of maps up with this level of consciousness stuff. In the lower levels, that stuff we have to purge. That's the purgative way. It's not only about not sinning in the sense of not doing things that are wrong. There's that inner stuff that's going on within my heart that I have to purge, that I have to release and let go of. And that's what really this channel is going to be about. At the end of the day, it's going to be helping and supporting people, guiding them to release those lower levels, the fear, the anger, the apathy, the shame, the guilt, because that's necessary. We don't just believe that we're a person of love. We just don't believe that we're going to be in peace and repeat affirmations. And then all of a sudden we are this thing. The truth is that we have to go through the purgative process in order to move into the second realm, which is the illuminative process. And in this realm, we are in courage. We are in acceptance. We get reason, right? All these different words that are just words, but they're also a lived experience that really happens. And then as we move up into the unitive mode of being, which is the higher level, let's say, then we start entering into the peace, the love, the joy. And David R. Hawkins would call it enlightenment at the top. I don't know what to call it. Mystical experience, mystical union, being with God, really seeing God in everyone else, in the world, being a saint, being holy, that type of stuff. I'm not going to go too deep into that. I have had mystical experiences, and maybe I'll share some of that with you as we move on to that part of this series of videos that I'm going to create right now. But I don't want to go too deeply into that because realistically, as a friar, I was a friar minor. That's what we're called, a little brother. And my calling was to enter into humility and to go into the places where nobody else wants to go. That's what a friar does. Goes to places where nobody else wants to go. So we were called the Marines of the church because we would go where nobody else wanted to go. And I still have that spirituality where I want to go into your pain. I want to go into the difficulties, the struggles, the muck, the mud, the nasty, the stuff, the profane, the thing that nobody wants to talk about. I don't want to just have highfalutin ideas and stuff like that we're just talking about awesome things. Or go into like apologetics, proving the faith, doing things like explaining doctrine and stuff like that, which is all good and beautiful, you know? But that's not where I want to go. As a Franciscan, what I want to do is lead people into love, peace, and joy. And from the 5 years experience that I've had and the spiritual directors that I've had, I can have this opportunity now to teach you what they taught me and guide you. These are some men that you wouldn't be able to have as spiritual directors because they only worked with people who were friars, who were learning the way of the friar. And oh man, they've taught me a lot, and they've made me go through the inner work, the inner process, a human formation where we dealt with that inner stuff, the reality of purging those issues, those lies, those things that keep us trapped and held. And at the same time, I've noticed that bioenergetics, the body-mind connection, helped me to release those, to let them go in such a profound and embodied way, a real way, where I am now a person of love, of joy, and of peace. And I don't have to try. And I don't have to, and I'm not faking it, you know? It's just ingrained in who I am. And I think a lot of people don't like religious people because although they may have the right words, they're not embodied in love, peace, and joy. What they're embodied in sometimes is pride, where they're going to tell you what to do, where they're going to show you what's up, where they're going to prove to you what is the right way and that you better be part of this way. Or they're entering into their spiritual life in fear because they're already trapped with fear. And then they enter into their relationship with God out of fear. And they do the things and they perform the rituals and all this type of stuff out of fear. And they're stuck in that mode. And some people come into the church or into a community like this and they notice that there's something off. And what's off many times is that we haven't been taught to go through this purgative process, this process of releasing and going past the anger, the fear, the grief, the pain, the sadness, all that type of stuff. So that's why I'm going to focus in on that, especially when it comes to bioenergetics. I'm going to give you practical tools, things to release those from a spiritual sense, from a mental sense, and from a body sense. How to move past those lower levels and enter into peace, joy, and love. And I'm going to do it many times multifaceted because we are a multifaceted being, right? Many parts, multifaceted, many parts, right? Body, mind, and spirit. So I can't not speak about all of those. I will try to focus in a little bit more on the body-mind connection because that's very powerful stuff, which I think many people don't know. And that is kind of more accessible to anybody. Even if you don't want to hear the whole God piece, even if you don't want the spirituality piece, that part you can actually enter into and start entering into the process of releasing, of healing. And that's ultimately going to boost you up into the next level where then you may be a little bit more open and trusting and take courage into, hey, let me courageously see and try to discover what about this God thing? What about this God thing, you know? And for me, I will not be evangelizing or proselytizing or telling you what to believe. Not because I don't hold true what I believe to be true, but because I will allow God to be God. That the Holy Spirit be the one that moves your heart in whatever way. My job will just be to love you and to support you and to guide you into releasing these lower aspects and moving up the ladder. And I'll guide you with certain things that my spiritual director has told me to do. Some pretty strange stuff that you're just like, am I really going to do this? And, try it. I would say try it. Of course, there's like the meditation, there's the contemplation, there is opportunity for prayer, there is bioenergetics, there's delving deep into those wounds. There's an understanding also that has to happen of what is love, what truly is love, what truly is joy, what truly is to be at peace. And that's what we're going to be working on throughout these next few months, because I think this is really where I'm at. This is where I'm at. This is what I am called to do, is to lead people into this. Release and lead into it. So it's not just I'm coming here and talking about topics that are difficult. I'm not just trying to talk about anxiety, fear, anger, sadness, all this type of stuff. I'm only doing that because I want us to go past it, to let go of it, release it, forgive, and move on. Because there's so much more beauty at the top. And we'll talk about what happens when we enter into that mode of being. And of course, you don't have to be a friar to do this, You don't have to be religious to do this necessarily, but you can be too. All of this is going to be for anybody who's religious or non-religious. Anybody who is a newbie in this work and has had a lot of struggles, a lot of pain in their life, and some people who are already higher up in the journey. It's going to be supportive for everyone. And just letting you know, I'm coming still as a friar minor, as a little brother on the journey. Not higher than you, not trying to take a higher place. I'm taking the lower place as a servant, as a leader, but in a servant way, in a caring way, in a loving way, where I can truly be of service, because you'll be able to listen. You'll be able to listen to someone who's just caring, who's just here for you. And I will tell you a lot of my story and a lot of my pain and hurt and my past and what I've gone through, the mistakes I've done. I don't come to you at all as a perfect person. Not at all. And you'll get to know that as we go together through this journey. And that's what I'll be, a brother on the journey. I'm looking forward to it. the next few months, these videos are going to be awesome because they're going to come from deep within my heart, but also from real stuff that I've been trained into, that I've learned, that I've never taught before, that I've never shown anybody before. And I think that most people don't really know about. So I'm excited for this journey with you, and I hope you and me work together to release a lot of this sludge and move up into a lot more lightness, easiness, the joy, the peace, the goodness of life, because it'll change everything. It'll change your relationships, it'll change your money, the way you talk to people, it'll change your health. Just so much about this is the way that we want to live. It is maybe not the meaning of your life, but it's a big component that many people shy away from. They say that the longest journey is that of your head to your heart. I've heard that said before, and I think it's true. That inner process, that inner game. And most of us don't have the mentor, the person that will be there to guide us. But I got that. I got that for free. I got that for free from the friars. They gave me their love, they gave me their time, they gave me their wisdom and their attention. So I'm going to do that back. You know, you receive love, your cup overflows, and you give it out. So that's what ultimately this is going to be about, whether you're in one of those lower states of consciousness or you're moving up. So I hope to see you, to hear from you, comment on the videos, ask me questions, you know. We'll be working through this together, and have mercy, because this is a big topic. This is huge, you know. I'm not going to be perfect. I'm not. Don't expect me to be perfect. I might butcher some stuff, but you know what? We can do it. We'll get through it together, and there's a lot to gain here. So looking forward to it. Peace.